Hey Southo, Mrs. Z from the Southo Library back with another read aloud. This story is in honor of our wonderful Southo garden. It is called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha by Candace Fleming and illustrated by G. Brian Karras. Muncha, Muncha, Muncha by Candace Fleming, illustrated by G. Brian Karras. Reading with permission from Antheum Books for Young Readers. For years, Mr. McGreely dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty, of growing yummy vegetables, and of gobbling them all up. But he never once tried it until... "This spring," said Mr. McGreely, "this spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden." So he hoed and he sowed and he watched his garden grow. So notice right here, there's 3 bunny rabbits. And this is an example of foreshadowing, or giving you a little hint of what is to come in the book. "Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, yum, yum, yummy," said Mr. McGreely. "I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh veggies." But one night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. Tippy, 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 pat! Muncha, muncha, muncha! The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. "There," he declared, "no bunny can get into my garden now." And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, spring hurtled, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his nibbled leaves and gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he built a tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. He huffed. "Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now." There they are. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, dig, scrabble, scratch, 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 spring hurtled, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chewed stems and nibbled leaves and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. "Ha!" he snorted. "Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now." There they are. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 pat, dive, paddle, splash, 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 dig, scrabble, scratch, 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 spring, hurdle, dash, 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 muncha, muncha, muncha. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his chomped blossoms and chewed stems, his nibbled leaves and his gnawed sprouts, he was furious. So he hammered and blocked, sawed and stalked, drilled and filled, and trapped and locked. And he built a huge, enormous thing before the deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. "I've outsmarted those twitch whiskers for sure," he exclaimed. "They can't get through it, they can't get under it, and they can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how can get into my vegetable garden now." Where are they? Oh, there they are. And the sun went down and the moon came up, and tippy, 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 stop! 3 hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them, and tippy, 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 pat, the bunnies hopped away. The next morning, when Mr. McGreely saw his untouched vegetables, he was happy. I beat the bunnies, he whooped and did a jiggly-wiggly victory dance. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, and crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreely, at last. Smacking his lips, he picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. Oop, I see bunny ears. I see them going to the basket. There they are. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Those bunnies outsmarted him at every turn. That is Muncha, muncha, muncha.